going on, everybody? This is the Daily Fantasy Show brought to you by DFO. I'm Josh. That's Avery. He's saying, what's up? So for the delay. Yeah, we were busy today. But we got a 9-game slate. Yeah, we got some more toys. You always have more toys. So, I know it's only an hour and a half before lock, so I'm going to try to go through this pretty quickly. Game by game, like usual. If you have questions, ask me about the game that I'm on, or save them till the end, and then we'll rock and roll from there. Sound good? Good. Here we go. First game of the night, we have the New York Islanders traveling to Buffalo to face the Sabres.
What is it going to be?
I'm not sure, bud.
I'm not so good.
It's going to be Halak
I'm not so too.
against Robin Leonard. So this is probably going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I don't think people realize. I mean, I'm sure the secret's out, but Buffalo or the Islanders are absolutely terrible. Buffalo, yeah. Islanders are absolutely terrible defensively. You like Buffaloes?
Yeah. Oh, what is that?
So I think
What is that?
I don't know. So I think both top
It's a
6
penguin?
lines are in play.
Is that the penguin? That's a
Yeah. So I think out of everything, Eichel is with Reinhardt
You open
and
the hood?
I'm trying, but
Oh, the hats.
Eichel's with Reinhardt and Evan Rodriguez.
The hats are too.
Okay. And then O'Reilly's with Kane and Poso. So
Look the hood.
when push comes to shove, if I'm going to use a full line, I think it's going to be the second line, the Ryan O'Reilly line, which I think is probably going to be a little bit more popular as a full line. That being said, if you want to use the top line, I think Evan Rodriguez is a tad more attractive than Zemgus, Gurgle Shits, as people like to call him. So I think there's definitely merit to using the top line. I think, the Islanders just, none of the lines really scare me. No matter who Eichel or Ryan O'Reilly match up with, it's probably going to favor the Sabres. If you're going to use either line, obviously Ristolainen makes sense, or Marco Scandella. On the flip side, I think my preferred play from the Islanders is going to be the second line, Barzal, Eberle, and Lee. I know Boychuk skated this morning, but I still don't think he's in, so if you can't fit Letty, I think Pulak is a good play. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously there's always merit to using the top line. Beauvillier provides some salary relief from how expensive New York Islanders have been. I think they're a decent play as well. I think this I would probably bet the over in this game. That being said, push comes to shove. From this game, I'd go Buffalo 2. That's my top line from Buffalo.
That's mommy.
Yeah. New York Islanders 2 as my top line from the Islanders, but both Buffalo 1 and New York Islanders 1 are definitely in play.
That's so dirty.
Yeah. Goalies in this game, sometimes Buffalo has a tendency to crap the bed. I don't know if I want to pay $7,900 for Halak on DraftKings. Yeah, you can power play stack this game on both sides. I think that is definitely viable. Halak at $7,900 is a little unattractive to me, but he's going to see shot volume. I wish he was a little bit cheaper, then he'd be more attractive. But Robin Leonard at $7,000, I've been using him when he was $6,800, $6,900. Now he's $7,000. He is going to see a ton of shots tonight, too. One of these times he's going to win a game. But I don't know. This is kind of tough. I'd use Leonard correlating only. If you need the salary relief, I think you can take a chance. I think I'd go elsewhere, though.
What are those penguins doing?
I don't know what those penguins are doing, but those are definitely not penguins. Yeah, I mean, I think they're a good GPP play, even if they're chalky. I don't know. Whoa.
Let me see.
So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the Calgary Flames traveling to New Jersey to face the Devils. It's going to be Keith Kincaid against David Rittich. Battle of the backups here. So I think both top lines are in play tonight. I'd lean more towards New Jersey than Calgary just because Calgary one's a little bit more expensive, and I think if you're going to spend that type of money, there are better spots. New Jersey one's only 16 and change to full stack, and I think this is a good matchup facing Rittich, Bratt, Heischer, and Hall. If you want to go back to New Jersey too, I think, until teams can prove they can stop them, I think they're a very good depth line to use. I don't know, buddy.
It's a kid.
Yeah. I don't know if the secret is out on Miles Wood yet or not, but Miles Wood with Kyle Palmieri is fun. Calgary's a decent defensive team, but this is not the best matchup for them, I don't think. No, Kincaid is starting. Eddie Lack did come in relief of Kincaid last game when Kincaid got lit up. That's why I'm interested in Calgary one a bit, just because, Keith Kincaid isn't very good. They need Corey Schneider back big time. Yeah, and that's the only reason why I really would want a little bit of Calgary, and I think the top line is where I'd want to go. For the Devils, if you're using the top line, I think Butcher makes sense. If you're using the second line, you can either use Butcher or you can use Sami Vatanen. Yeah, that does worry me a bit, and that's why they're kind of expensive, though, and it does kind of annoy me a little bit. But yeah, both Calgary lines are in play. Yeah, I don't really look to line movement too much. I just think, it probably moved just because Kincaid has been terrible. If I'm using, computer sucks. There we go. If I'm using Calgary, obviously Dougie Hamilton is the one I want to use. Mike Giordano next. He's a little bit more expensive. And then TJ Brody, which is a decent pony. He's under 4,000. Yeah, it's probably a toss-up. Avery. Goalies in this game are a little tough for me as well.
Why?
I don't know, bud. Kincaid, 7,600. If he was 7,000, or it's like 7,100, something like that, I'd say, you can correlate with the Devils. I don't know. Coming off getting roughed up and being that he's a backup, I don't know if I really want to go there. Rittich is interesting. I think he is better than people give him credit for. He has really good numbers. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that scenario a couple months ago with the Montreal backup, and whose name I forget. He was playing crazy good, and then it kind of caught up with him. I think Rittich is, definitely possible to have a good game. I think, if you are correlating with the Flames, I think Rittich is a good play to use. I don't know if I'd lock him in as a goalie. If I had 7,500 left, I might look elsewhere. But in a GPP, if I had to pick between one of these goalies, even though I like New Jersey better, I'd probably pick Rittich. Here we go, bud. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have Montreal traveling to Philadelphia. Yeah, I do like Frolik. More from a defensive standpoint, but he's definitely a bump up from Brouwer, so I'd be more inclined to use the second line with Frolik than Brouwer. So Montreal's going into Philly. The Eagles parade was today.
Yeah, Eagles.
Yeah, massive traffic.
Are those penguins?
Those are
Penguins?
maybe.
Maybe.
My computer. Let me pull it up on my phone. Just be easier.
Bye. Cutie cars.
I need cutie cars.
Huh?
There we go.
That's all toys.
It's
now.
okay. It's Brian Elliott, the Moose, 8,200 Moose, which is really expensive, against 7,200 carry price.
That's all toys, Daddy. That's all toys.
So, it's not going to be a surprise that I like the Philadelphia top line tonight. I still do like carry price. I think you can take a risk on him at the price. 7,200 is a good GPP price for carry price. That being said, I do like the top line for the Flyers tonight.
You got him?
Konechny brings down the price. They're still over 18,000. Yeah. But Weber's still out. I think, they're banged up on the blue line. They still aren't very good defensively. I like Nolan Patrick. I don't think you should be.
I got first carry cuts.
I do like Philadelphia too tonight. They're cheaper. I almost prefer them to Philadelphia 1. Patrick, Simmons, and Voracek. The only thing is, Patrick doesn't see power play one time with them, but he's cheap, and yeah. So that works well together. If you have the salary, I'd probably prefer to pay up for Philadelphia 1, but if you're going for a different build and you want to build around Philly too, I have zero issues with that as well. I think I prefer even the second line of Philadelphia to like New Jersey or Calgary, even something like that. And I think I'd probably go Provorov over Ghost. I mean, it's a preference. I mean, if you're going with the first line, you want the power play correlation, Ghost makes sense. Even on the second line, it makes sense. But it's like the Ekblad Yandel type deal. Provorov has the peripheral stats. He's a better defender. He gets the block shots, gets the shots on goal. Ghost does his damage on the power play. So it's really a preference to you. Your sheep says hi? Avery's sheep says hi. Got it. On the Montreal side, I'm not overly interested in anyone from Montreal tonight. They're kind of way down there. I don't really like how their lines are put together. Jeff Petrie is over 5,000 now. I don't think you can pay that. I mean, he's still productive. He's with Weber out, but 5,200 is a pretty steep price. I'm kind of mum on Montreal tonight, unless you're taking a chance in a GPP with carry price. I think that puts Elliott into play. I think I hate using Flyers goalies in cash or even in general. But I think this is a decent spot for Brian Elliott tonight. Yeah. So I think he is in play in all formats. Okay, bud. And again, carry price definitely just GPP only, and for the price, I think you can take a couple stabs. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have Nashville Predators traveling to Ottawa to face the Senators. It is the return of Kyle Turris. If you're into narrative streets,
Open this.
I'm not sure who's starting for Nashville, but it is Craig Anderson, 6,900. Craig Anderson for Ottawa. Nashville's on a back-to-back. Oh, Saros is starting. Juicy.
What is it?
That's a little bit more attractive than 8,300.
Who is it?
It's right here.
Who is it? Who is it? Daddy? Who is it? Who is it?
It's a cat. So, obviously,
Who?
I think Nashville 2 is going to be a pretty popular play tonight. It is Narrative Street. Yeah. For, if he's probable, it's probably going to be him. They don't confirm, but they don't not confirm, if that makes any sense. So, I mean, I don't really like using teams back-to-back on the road. If you want to have some tourists, because the Narrative Street, I think, that line is good with Fiala and Craig Smith. That's really all I'm interested in this game. You want to use the top line with Nashville, okay. You want to go back to the Duchesne line in Ottawa. It is a tough matchup, even though they're at home. Nashville's a tough team to play against. Kind of just mum on it. Not one of my favorites. Is it? It's certainly possible. Yeah, Chabot's a decent punt.
But I'm kidding him.
Yeah, Chabot's a decent punt if he's on power play one. I like that.
Daddy.
I'm not really gonna go after Ottawa.
Daddy.
Chabot or EK makes sense, but other than that, I know they're super cheap, but it's just not one of my favorite plays. Saros is good, Nashville's good defensively. It's not a good matchup. So even though they're on a back-to-back, if Saros is starting 8,100, I think he's in play in GPPs. Yeah. Also, Craig Anderson at 6,900 is interesting. They're going to see shot volume because Ottawa isn't very good. If you really need a sneaky GPP low-owned prayer, buckle your seatbelt, hope for the best, I think I'd rather go Craig Anderson than Robin Leonard. Just, Nashville is a bit of a veteran team. They are on the tail end of a back-to-back. They're on the road. So I think there is a bit of merit to taking a Hail Mary with Craig Anderson for the price. I don't advise doing it, but if you need the salary, I think you can buckle your seatbelt and go for a ride.
You said, Daddy?
I said buckle your seatbelt and go for a ride.
I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that?
No.
Okay. So let's move on to the next game of the night. Yeah, I don't know. Leonard, what was it, Tuesday? I used Leonard. He was like 8%, which is about double what I was expecting. I don't think either are going to be super high, but I slightly prefer Anderson to Leonard if you're, going deep dive in the goalie scenario. So the next game of the night, we have the Vancouver Canucks traveling to Tampa Bay to face the Lightning. There's some uncertainty about Tampa's lines. There's some conflicting reports from the beat writers. So some beat writers have Yanni Gourde with Stamkos and Tyler Johnson, and then Kucherov with Nemestikov and Nemestikov's on the third line. It was Braden Point with Kucherov and somebody. Other beat writers have, the regular Tampa one, Nemestikov, Stamkos, Kucherov. Yeah, I don't know. So this is the thing. So there's some beats saying that, some beats saying the regular line. And with the regular Tampa one being so expensive, yeah, and that's the issue. They did skate both versions. So this is the issue, right? So, like, say you put in that second line of Point, Kucherov, and Killorn, and they go back to the other lines, you can't really swap up, right? Because you won't have the salary. If you put in Kucherov, Stamkos, and Nemestikov, and they use Point, Kucherov, Killorn, you have the ability to swap down. So it's kind of a conundrum. You can fade Tampa altogether. I don't know. I kind of hope that it's Yanni Gourde with Stamkos and Tyler Johnson. That would just be awesome. So with the second line, though, like,
So, Ryan, what do you got there?
both lines are really attractive set up that way.
Daddy.
It's kind of a risky scenario if they revert back to the old lines, and that kind of scares me. But it would also be a really good GPP play just because a lot of people are going to miss the news. A lot of people are going to have the lines.
Daddy?
Yeah, I think,
Daddy?
if they revert back to the old lines and you can get them in, I think they're going to be super low owned. Not super low owned, but way lower than they should be.
Daddy.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We just got that one.
So that's my thing on Tampa.
Look at that one. And
Sergachev is under 4,000. I think, that's a decent play. I know he hasn't been great for a little bit, but
what?
you don't need great for 3,500. You just need decent. Hedman's expensive at 6,500. If you're worried about them swapping the lines,
Daddy, move it here. Move it here.
yeah, they are sheltering him. He's only 19, so, but 3,900 is a good price. So Hedman's expensive. So if you're worried about the line swapping, I think you can put in Sergachev just for the extra salary relief. It is a 7:30 start, so you should know by 7:10 what's going on. On the Vancouver side, I mean, if it's Besser, Horvat, and Barchi, yeah. So if Horvat, Barchi, and Besser, I think that's a line you can use. I don't know if it would make a one lineup for me. That's more of an MME line for me tonight. This is a tough matchup. I'm a big Yanni Gourde guy. Tyler Johnson doesn't really do too much for me. I think I would lean Stamkos, Gourde, Tyler Johnson a little bit over Point Kucherov, Killorn. But that's really a preference. It's basically a toss-up because they're almost the same price. They're going to see about the same ice time. They have about the same power play time. So it's really a matter of preference. My preference would slightly be Stamkos, Gourde, but absolutely no issue with Point Kucherov. And really, when you think about it, you probably want the best player on the ice, right? And that's going to be Kucherov. So the Besser line sparingly for me in MME. If you want to use Edler, okay. I think I'd rather use like a Troy Stetcher or Michael Del Zotto for block shots at a cheap price. Vasilevsky, I think, is a good cash play tonight. He is 8,400. That's a little pricey for me in GPPs. So I'm out on him in GPPs. Anders Nielsen is 6,800. Goalie leverage doesn't work like most people think, so plugging in Nielsen and fading Tampa isn't gonna, get you above the field. I think that's a big misnomer. I think if Tampa's chalk, if you fade Tampa and they bust, you're gonna have a bigger edge over the field than using Nielsen at 1.2%. Because say he gives up 3 goals and he scores 6.2, but then, someone like Brian Elliott has 9.8. You didn't leverage anything. But at the price, if you need some severe salary savings and a prayer for a win, and you're using Vancouver, that's the only way I'd say use Nielsen. Otherwise, I'd fade him. Any percent goalie doesn't work unless they are the play, Yeah. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the... Craig... Yeah. I do like Craig Anderson for the dumpster dive goalie tonight. Okay, Bubba. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the Colorado Avalanche going to St. Louis to face the Blues. It's going to be Hutton against Bernier. St. Louis got absolutely lit up by a Christmas tree by the Wild. It was really ugly. I watched the game. The Wild just dominated from start to finish, except the first minute when Jaden Schwartz scored. As I said on Tuesday, Carter Hutton, I don't think Carter Hutton is very good. Yeah. I wasn't, I'm not happy to see, people use him and get wrecked, but, I could see it coming. You know, it was bound to happen. Um, he is 8,000 tonight, and it's another spot where I really don't want to use him, even though Colorado's banged up. What worries me about using goalies against Colorado now is, you know, Colorado scoring 2 goals on 16 shots. So that's going to do nothing for you. You know, Colorado without McKinnon is a completely different team. Um, so for me, this is a St. Louis 1 game. I'm going to go back to St. Louis. Shen, Schwartz, Tarasenko. My battery's dying, so I got to hustle up here. If you can fit in with Pietrangelo, I do it. Otherwise, I go Colton Parayko or Vinny Dunn for the power play correlation. Did they blender it up? See, this is what happens when I'm out. What are the new lines? Hit me. Steen, Stasny, Stank. I'm behind that one as well. Yeah. You know, Steen always sees the top opposition for the other team. But, you know, that doesn't really concern me. With Colorado, so Steen, Stasny, Tarasenko. Yes, please. That second line is okay. I like Jaden Schwartz, but no. Colorado is a full fade until McKinnon comes back. I just can't do it. They don't produce enough. I like Kerfoot, but like their shot volume's just nothing much for me. Carter Hutton is a fade for me. Just I'm worried about Colorado's shot volume, you know, not being a great goalie aside. Bernier at 7,100. I think is an okay play in GPPs. He was the play on Tuesday. He sees a bunch of shots. He's been playing really well. I think you can take a flyer there, but I wouldn't, you know, just lock him in and be like, I'm fucking using Bernier with random people. I think it's a bit risky. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have the Arizona Wild traveling, or the Arizona Coyotes traveling to Minnesota to face the Wild. It is Devin Dubnyk against Antti Raanta. Raanta is back. He is 6,800. There's a whole bunch of goalies under 7,000 tonight. Devin Dubnyk is 8,500. I don't care if the Wild are playing the Manitoba Moose. I'm not paying 8,500 for a goalie. That being said, I do really like Minnesota tonight. I really love that top line. Koivu, Granlund, Zucker. They're firmly in play for me. They're fairly cheap. And basically, I want to use them. I also want to use the second line. I know that it isn't as attractive. I'm not sure. I think they're probably going to be fairly high owned. It really depends what Tampa does. The Manitoba Moose definitely can beat the Coyotes. I'm saying if the Wild were paying the Manitoba Moose, I still wouldn't pay for Dubnyk. The second line is interesting too. I like Stahl and Nina Ryder. Not a huge fan of Tyler Ennis, but for his price, I think you can survive. The thing is, Tampa does start before Minnesota, though. So Tampa's at 7:30, Minnesota's at 8. So the people who do follow the news, if it's the new Tampa lines, will most likely use Tampa compared to Minnesota. If it's the old Tampa lines, most people are probably going to swap to Minnesota. That's my take on that. But yeah, Minnesota 1 definitely. Minnesota 2, if you can swallow Ennis. If not, you can leave him off and use like Spurgeon or Dumba or Suter. Yeah. Arizona, I don't really have too much interest in tonight. You want to use the top line because you're super cheap? Sure. I mean, they're super cheap. Let you get in anybody you want. All you need is really one goal, one full line goal to pay off for the value. But Minnesota's getting healthy. This is the healthiest they've been in a long time. They're a tough team to play against, especially in Minnesota. They're good defensively. So for me, I'm probably just going to fade Arizona completely. If you want to use Jacob Chikrin or Oliver Ekman-Larsson or, you know, one of their really cheap defenders like Nicholas Hjalmarsson for shot block, okay. I think I prefer Chikrin over all of them there for the price. If you want to use OEL, I think that's also fine. But Other than that, I'm probably full fade on Arizona tonight. So let's move on to the Dallas Stars traveling to Chicago to face the Blackhawks. Going to be Anton Forsberg against Benny Bishop. I always like Dallas. I always like that top line. They're super expensive unless they mix them up. I don't know. I believe it's still Sagan, Ben, Radulov. That being said, they're really expensive. Chicago has gotten better defensively since they've taken Ruda and Forsling out of the lineup. Dallas won is almost 22,000 a full stack, which is ridiculous. I still think people try to jam him in. They won't be super high on, but I think this is a decent spot to fade Dallas. One, because they're really expensive. Yeah. Two, I think the notion that they're awful defensively is a bit overblown now. Ruda and Forsling got awful defensively, but their pairings now, Seabrook's a bit sheltered on the third pairing, which is good. I think you definitely can take a flyer on Forsberg tonight. He's 7,000. I prefer him to Leonard. It's a home matchup. He's probably going to still see the shot volume. I do like Dallas is good defensively. I think Bishop's a bit overrated, but Dallas defensively this year compared to last year, Leonard's gonna get caved probably. But Forsberg, people don't think he's good at all. People don't realize he was a highly touted prospect in the Blue Jackets organization, and the more playing time he gets, the better he's going to be. And I think if you're using Chicago, I think, Forsberg is a good play. Dallas is good possession-wise. I think they're getting better. Klingberg is the best defender in the league. I don't care what anybody says. You watch him play. He should win the what the heck is it? Whatever the defensive one is. My brain's having a minute. But he should. He's the Norris. He should win the Norris. On the Chicago side, he's not going to win. Drew Doughty's probably going to win for the 98th time. I'm not overly interested in Chicago skaters tonight. I think the Kane line is the more attractive piece to me. I also like that third line. They're only 10,000 a full stack, and I said on Tuesday, save Chicago 3 for a deeper slate where you need salary. And I think, if you need a line around 10,000, this is the time. I don't know if you need to dig that deep tonight. Yeah. You can game stack if you're really into Dallas 1. If you're really into them tonight, I think you can game stack with Chicago 3 and still get good defenders. But I do like Chicago 3 tonight. I think Seabrook, I can't believe I'm saying that, but Seabrook's a decent play tonight. He's only 3,800. He's on the power play. He just shoots the puck. Defense doesn't matter in DFS. You want to go Keith for 4,600, okay. I think I'd probably go Osterley 4,100, then I'd go Seabrook at 38, then I'd go Keith at 46. For Dallas, Dunn has been on the power play for a while now, Dallas, if I can fit Klingberg, I do it. If not, Essa Lindell. Or even Steven John. Steven John shoots the puck every time he gets it. Goalies in this game, Bishop at... What? Okay. Dunn's kind of if he doesn't do anything on the power play, he ain't doing nothing. But I get why people want to use him because he's fairly cheap, and he does get the power play time. The Blues actually need to score for him to do stuff, which has been a struggle lately. Ben Bishop, GPPs, 8,100, pass for me. It's a little too expensive on the road. Forsberg, my thoughts. If you're using Chicago, definitely use him. in GPPs as a correlating play at 7,000. If you need salary savings, I think I prefer Forsberg at 7,000 compared to anyone else in the price range. So let's move on to the last game of the night, starting 2 hours after the second to last game. Surprised DraftKings even has it on the slate because people like slates ending early. Yeah. It's going to be Martin Jones, probably against Marc-Andre Fleury. Yeah. Martin Jones at 7,300 is the time to use Jones. At home, 7,300. I don't know if I want to. Not a big Jones guy. I think you all know that. But at his price, I think there's merit tonight. The William Karlsson line, Wild Bill, they're expensive. I don't know if I want to spend 19 and change for them on the road to Shark Tank. I'd probably pass on Vegas tonight. If you want to MME them, yeah. One lineup, no thank you. What? This?
No, the Hatchimal case.
The Hatchimal case?
No, the Hatchimal case. Wait a minute. This is a cobalt.
Okay, hold on. We're almost done. So for me, like, I don't even know if I want any exposure to this game. Vegas one's a little bit overpriced. I think they're going to get a little ownership just because the late hammer. I think you want to use the San Jose Sharks lines. I think that's okay. I mean, they're pretty cheap, and it's a nice late hammer. If anything, I'm going to use Burns. I think that's going to be a popular method of going about this game. Martin Jones is a decent play at 7,300 in GPPs. I can handle Martin Jones at 7,300. I can't handle Martin Jones at 8,400. I also like Logan Couture. I think that line is my preferred play if I'm going Sharks. Couture and Hurdle is a nice combo. I'm not a huge LeBanc guy, but you can do it. I mean, Couture, Hurdle, Burns, it's a nice little mini. I think you can, a nice late hammer mini. So, if it is Fleury, I think you can go there as well in GPPs. I'm not too high in this game from an offensive standpoint. Obviously, Burns, Couture, Hurdle in play. Martin Jones at his price is in play. If it's Malcolm Subban, Sharks get bumped up a little bit. I would assume it's Fleury, though. I haven't seen any confirmation. Maybe you guys have seen it, but that's a 9-game slate. If any questions, ask him now. Fleury's confirmed. Yeah. So I mean, this is probably going to be a lower scoring game, maybe 3-2 ish. I kind of like both goalies in this game. My battery might die, but we got through the slate. Do I like the Isles? Yes, I do. My preferred line from this game. My preferred lines in order: Buffalo 2, New York Islanders 2, then Buffalo 1, the New York Islanders 1. And Evan Rodriguez is a little bit more attractive than Zemgus.
I couldn't get that piece.
Gurgle shits.
I couldn't get that piece.
But
And more.
Yeah, Buffalo 2 is Kane, Ryan O'Reilly at Poso. But I don't mind going Eichel, Reinhart, Ristolainen at all. I think that's definitely viable. Yeah, it was a short-handed goal. It's pretty bad goal to give up, actually, by Ryan Miller.
Yeah, but I am Miller.
Top 3 stacks. I think that Buffalo line, the second Islanders line, St. Louis I really like. They're expensive, though, so if you want to... And the way that Tampa is set up with the new lines... I like them as well. I think Minnesota won too if you're going that route. The Rangers fucking blow. Did you see the Rangers Twitter today? Eichel is Buffalo 1. the Rangers are just like, yeah, we're gonna blow up the team. Hope you're patient with us, which is actually awesome. Like that they're transparent about it,
Hey.
which is cool.
Oh no, don't favor not Spidey. Don't worry, Spidey. I'm gonna rescue you.
Yeah, the Rangers are just like, yeah, we're gonna go Cleveland Cavalier style and trade everybody. Sorry,
Oh no.
but we'll be back, basically. I have no expectations for the Rangers. I mean, they should just trade everybody. Full rebuild.
And purple bottom. And a purple full bottom. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Henrik Lundqvist is New York's next Patrick Ewing. So, yeah. He's one of the best goalies of all time. Won't have a ring or a cup. I still find it funny that some Rangers fans think Mike Richter is better than Henrik Lundqvist. That's just the most bonkers argument ever. Like, it shouldn't even be a conversation. Yeah, I'm glad they finally are like, yeah, we suck. Yeah, more cups. Yep. One. Yeah. I have faith in Jeff Gorton. Their trade for the Derek Stepan trade makes more sense now that they're blowing it up. I think they're going to give it, a couple months to see if they can contend. And I think they realize that the way the team is currently constituted, that they'll make the playoffs, but they won't really go far. So applaud them for calling it like it is and blowing it up. Put Brandon Smith on waivers. I hope the Red Wings claim him back. Yeah, Pionk. They have good players though. I think 2-3 years they'll be back in the playoffs. As long as they have a goalie. Who's the Russian guy? That Igor Shersheskin or whatever. Yeah. They really should trade McDonough because McDonough has great term. Like his contract's so good. They would get a monster return for McDonough. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But the Rangers goalie coach is awesome. So I'm sure they'll have another goalie in the pipeline. Too bad they let go of the immortal Mackenzie Skapski. Shut out Buffalo twice. Devils for GPPs. I like the top line. I like the second line as a punt line. Yeah. Miles Wood, Kyle Palmieri. Can dig it. What?
Look at penguins.
The Penguins?
Yeah. They're good.
They're dark?
Yeah. I think penguins are cold.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any other questions? So is there any doubt that LeBron James isn't... Like, LeBron James is the general manager of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Today proved that. All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Say bye.
Bye.
Edward says bye. Good luck tonight. Hope you guys win some money. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.